Hey guys, welcome back to another video of Mythic Plus commentaries. This is a 22 workshop that I did about 2 weeks ago. Found this one when I was going through all my footage, and I thought this will be pretty educational. We had a pretty good team, and we didn't make a lot of mistakes. I think barely any. So I'm really happy about timing this key. So right off the start, I'm gonna pick Mastery as always, and I'm gonna go solo the first pack. It's Tyrannical, Raging, and Volcanic. It's a really good push week for Tyrannical, of course. So in this first wave, in this first pull, there's 2 mobs that need to be interrupted. There's 2 bombs. And then the rockets will shoot out swirlies on the ground, and these swirlies will actually damage the mobs too. So you can see I'm positioning them in the swirly, and then I'm gonna hit bubble. Like Protection Paladin is actually one of the very good specs to efficiently deal with this, because I can just hit bubble and just stand inside the rockets. Alright, so save my DPS some cooldowns, and then it's honestly pretty fast, especially when you're doing high fortified weeks. Like it's so much damage, it saves you so much time. Alright, and this boss is a very predictable dance. I just gotta taunt it back. You want to hit the hammer. You want to hit the pummeler with the hammer, I think 3 times, to take off his armor. And so I think that's the first one. All right, now I'm gonna reposition into another hammer here. Yep, looks like I missed one. Alright, that's the second one. Alright, now we're heading over to the third one. Sometimes you have to walk around for a little bit for the hammer to activate. It doesn't always just come right off the bat. Ooh. Alright, so now we can sort of cleave them together. Your goal is to burn down the tank really fast, because the AoE vent jets is really bad for your healer, and it can really hurt you too. Alright, there it is. So as long as we can kill the tank in a reasonable amount of time, then we should be pretty good. Alright, and there's a little bit of more nuance to this fight, and I'll explain it now. So there are 2 patterns. The blade on the ground can spin. They can either spawn all the way outside and run towards the middle, or they can be like here, they just circle around. And when they're circling around, if you stand in the middle, you're never gonna get hit. But the problem with standing in the middle is, if the second pattern spawns, and then you like that, you don't have a lot of room to dodge. So I'm pulling the boss a little bit on the outside so they can have a little bit easier way to dodge. Alright, so taking a look at the DPS, we're actually doing really well on damage, so I'm really confident at this point. Alright, just these two mobs, a drill and an infiltrator. You want to aim the drill off to the side. Someone pulled the other drill, which I wasn't expecting, but okay. No big deal. Just more things to dodge, I guess. They're mostly ranged, so they don't really care how many I pull. This 3 mobs isn't really friendly for melees. And I swear to God, this the drills they walk around a lot. Even if you stand still, they just walk around so much. And it's getting a little low there, so I had to use my Aegis just to make sure. Ooh. Yeah, we don't have. We only have one soothe for the raging, so you know they can hurt. All right, and this is a spot where they can stand in LOS. Since they pulled the drill, I'll just go ahead and pull both waves because I have quite a lot of defensives up. And as a tank, I don't have to line of sight the explosion. I can just live it. All right, so that's that taken care of. I might just pull that into the next wave of slimes, but maybe in a little bit when my divine toad is coming back up. So maybe in about like 2 seconds. There it is. Oh, poor shaman. Alright, that's that taken care of. We're doing pretty good so far. We can go ahead and do Zolgamax. I think it's worth it. Especially when, you know, this early in the dungeon, you can really take advantage of the extra stacks that she provides. Especially on tyrannical weeks, you need all the help you can get to even just, you know, live through the boss. The third boss absolutely hurts a lot, and you know, the longer it goes on, the more likely you're gonna have, you know, people getting hit by random stuff. At this point, it's pretty telegraphed. I hope the hunter is using an MS pet, but I didn't bother to check. And it's a 22. It doesn't really matter. Like ultimately, it's about damage. Like we have enough damage, so not too worried about it. I guess one thing I can talk about is gearing a little bit. This season, you know, I snuck into a couple of heroic raid and got myself a Aegis trinket, and I think that helps me tremendously. It's like another defensive that you can use by itself, and you know, you're basically invincible from, you know, aside from some magic damage, you're basically invincible. So that gives me a huge amount of buffer in between my Guardian of Ancient Kings and Ardent Defender. So I've been having a lot of fun with, you know, just rotating different defensives. Now that I have that in my toolkit. So I usually don't use the Aegis with anything else because it's so powerful on itself. It basically, you know, makes me immune to any damage from my front. You know, this season we lost the wool, the earth buff, so we have less wings and guardian by nature. So having access to that trinket that absolutely, you know, helps filling some gaps. Alright, and on this boss, they dropped the box fairly close to the old box. I'm gonna position it to a place where, you know, when people go to hide, they don't get clipped by the old box exploding. And the pattern is, you know, you come out of the hiding phase, and then you kite the boss away. And after the boss jumps, you bring the boss back to you bring the boss back to the box, to LS, like you see there. And a healer's dispel is actually really important on this fight, because just a few ticks will actually hurt a lot. You know, the higher you're going keys. As you can see, he wasn't dispelling me for like a couple of globals, and I immediately started to struggle. Maybe I should have popped my guard in there. That would have been better. I haven't figured out which way to tank the boss so that, you know, you can still hide behind the box and still hit it. I guess I need to read up on that. But I also think, you know, I'm not pushing keys high enough to where that's gonna matter if we time the key or not. Like, I almost feel like it's better to just, you know, do the mechanic and, you know, be patient instead of being greedy and, you know, not doing it reliably. Like, if it's a 23 or 24, both my healer and hunter will be dead right there. So, you know, I almost feel like it's not a very worthy endeavor for me to pursue, if that makes sense. But we got through this boss no problem, which is a good sign. You'll be surprised how many people actually don't know how to do this boss. And so we're waiting for the warlock to drop a gate, and we're gonna take the gate up and then go to the next area. So this first wave is actually really it's a little bit tricky. I think there's a dog that spawns way behind in the back that, you know, that can just one shot your healer or your ranged DPS, like that one. So I want to make sure I grab that first, and then I can put everything in right now. We don't have a priest, so we don't have access to, you know, mind control and stuff like that. My hunter died, I don't know why. But the little tinkerers have they cast Giga Wallop. Actually hurts a lot. When I was playing a warrior, you can just, you know, go in and have them all targeting you and then just spell reflect. That's actually a lot of damage. But, you know, being a paladin, I'll just interrupt as much as I can. On the second wave, you want to focus the Model 3, because he's the one that puts a debuff on your DPS, and also he jumps for group-wide damage. So you want to burst him down first, and since we only have one Soothe, ideally he's the one that we want to keep on taps to instant Soothe. Otherwise, you know, healer's gonna have a bad time. As you can see, I'm just trying my best to help the healer heal. And on this big ass spider, I'm gonna pull him away all the way to the corner so that my range don't have to dodge the little things he puts on the ground, and they can have an easier time to do damage. And it's a really nice comfort for your ranged player. Alright, and after this, we'll just do the maze, and then ideally we'll skip the next pack and do the boss first because we have Lust coming back. And that's just a more efficient way to use our cooldowns, because if we blow all our cooldowns on the pack, we might struggle on the boss a lot, and this boss really matters. You know, if we can get through this boss without too much deaths, or if we can not wipe on this boss, then we have a shot at timing this key. Alright, so I'm just going for it. Alright, we got pretty lucky. Spawned in a pretty good spot, so we're just gonna skip this. And then do the Machinist Garden. So this boss very hard on tyrannical weeks. He will periodically summon little plants that, you know, just shoots stuff to a random target. You want to stun it as fast as possible, and, you know, target it down before the fire ring starts appearing, because if you have to dodge the fire ring while tanking it, someone's gonna die. Alright, so as a paladin, I have a Hodge for every other one, so I'm letting my team know, hey, I need CC on the next plant. We have quite a bit of CC actually. You know, we have a monk, we have warlocks, we have hunter. It's probably best if the hunter CC, because that's instant and it's not, you know, he doesn't have to physically go there. We got lucky this time. This plant spawned really close to us, so, you know, that almost guarantees we can kill it in time. And now we just have to dodge the fire. So when the next plant comes, my Hodge is gonna be back, so I'm gonna take care of that, and hopefully they can recognize that and then just, you know, swap to the plant and then burn it down. And after that, you know, it just comes down to how well we can dodge all these skiers flying around. But we have a lot of damage on this fight, so it's definitely a good sign. Because here's the next plant. I'm just immediately hodging it, and then pop it defensive, and then the fire. So that's just, you know, it's like a very scripted dance. Just keep an eye on your timeline, and deal with the plant, and then you're halfway there. So we're getting to the execute phase. And we haven't lost anybody yet. We have 2 B-Reds, so, you know, that's our saving grace. 15%, 14%. We're getting there. Alright, the next set of plants. You still want to deal with this, otherwise it's gonna murder everybody on your team. I'm popping my Guardian just in case, you know, because it's getting to the end of the fight. I don't need it for a couple minutes later. And so we got through it with 1 death, and should be good. So I'm gonna do this pull here. They have 2 shield generators, so kite the mobs outside of the generator. You can, you know, stand in it, and, you know, get, well, actually, never mind, it's just 1 shield generator, so it gives you, like, I think 40 or 35% DR, so you can just stand in it and not have to worry about your health or anything. Alright, as you can see, I use my Aegis there. My health is not moving anyway. Alright, got through that. Alright, so these two tanks, you want to kill the second one first, because as soon as the second one dies, the RP starts for the airplane to come here to pick you up to the next platform. So you wanna focus this one first, and that'll save you just a couple of seconds. You know, in 30 minutes dungeons, those really count. And on the next platform, the first bowl, depending on where the patrol is could be very challenging. You have two Model 3 bots that puts out a huge amount of AoE, but luckily you have two shield generators, so if you utilize those well, you can, you know, mitigate quite a lot of damage. So here it is, and there's one tinkerer, which I'm gonna, you know, make sure no cast ever get through. Alright, so it looks like just this three, we have to wait for the patrol to get back. Someone damaged the shield generator, which is not good. Right. It's certainly a very damage-focused group, I guess. We have very, very good damage, which I find in PUBG is not usually very easy to find. I don't know why. Like, I mean, if you're playing a DPS, then, you know, do good DPS. All right. Ideally, you want to focus one of them down with Tooth. Otherwise, they're gonna start hurting. And since we have a warlock, we can go ahead and skip the next pack. You want to aim the gate at the very top of the stairs, and then you want to hug the left on the gate, because you maintain your relative position. As you can see, we're all hugging left on the gate, so that we're not pulling the mobs. All right, got that. Now we have 9 minutes, plenty of time. So as long as we don't wipe, we can time this key. And this boss actually do quite a bit of damage to your party in this phase, so my priority is gonna be help my healer spot heal anyone that's in danger, so that, you know, they can save as much of their defensives for the second phase, because the second phase has a lot of group-wide damage, and it's best if your DPS can save their defensives, their personals, to that stage. Otherwise, we're gonna have, you know, people starting to randomly die and just get one shot by mechanics. But me as a tank, I'm not really in a lot of trouble, so I'm just playing a relatively support role here. And I'll show you a pretty neat way to deal with these flying orbs in the second phase. You know, how to efficiently dodge them and then, you know, maintain uptime. see, big heal coming up. All right, so we have three melees, and they kind of call out their spots. So, all right, so now I'm gonna be somewhere in the middle. It's gonna charge. I can stand relatively close to the front, and if I stay right here, you can see it's really hard for me to get clipped. Just dodge. Just don't panic. And you'll be fine. Alright, like I said, a lot of group-wide damage. I'm sacking my healer here because, you know, if I'm helping anything or anyone, it's gonna be my healer first. Alright, so get to the front. Dodge that. Alright, help heal a little bit, and then back to normal. Alright, I'm fine here. And head back to the same place. Alright, my warlock is kind of far from me, so I'm keeping an eye on his health bar, just so that I can make sure I can, you know, maybe lay on hand or with a glory in time. Alright, here's the next AoE phase. Alright, so I'm keeping tabs on my team. I got a free proc there, which is nice. And looks like that's pretty much it. We're almost down the boss. Easy time if you have sufficient damage and you know you're not having too much test on bosses. So I hope you guys enjoy this key, and I'll have more to upload. I actually have quite a few of interesting keys that I did, so stay tuned for those, and thanks for watching. Bye.